Well, hello everybody. Haven't made a video in a long time, right? Well, that was garbage. Much better. Anyway, really hot mod. I'm not kidding. This mod right here. This is wow. All right. But I really want to talk more about the tank. The tank is really an amazing tank. It's really made for high wattage vaping. So if you're just vaping 40, 50, 60 watts, this really isn't the tank for you. But this is an amazing tank if you want to vape like, 70, 80, 90 watts. This is a really good tank. And if you're into the high watt vaping, 120, 140, 150 watts, you really like it warm, or, wow. All right, so I'm going to do, this is 100 watts right here I'm going to do for you, all right? Let me just show you a little bit about what we can do here with this kind of a tank at 100 watts. You know what? F it. 120 watts. 120 watts, okay? Here we go. Let's blow a cloud, all right? Let's really blow a cloud. All right, so we can blow some serious clouds here with this, all right? But let's see here. I want to talk a little bit about the pros and the cons and would I recommend this tank. And the reason why is because it's very controversial for me, this tank. I'm really an RDA kind of a guy. I'm the type of a guy that just loves RDAs. If you look here by my windowsill, I have nothing but RDAs lining up on it. Mods, RDAs, all have RDAs on it. I don't have any tanks. I mean, I'm just not a tank person. My last real tank was a TF V4 Mini, and I also have another rebuildable tank, but I barely used it. So, not that I hate tanks, but once I started with RDAs, there was no going back. And I just, as much as I wanted to buy a good rebuildable tank, and what is it, Griffin, and there was another company, Heracles, came out with some really nice tanks over this past year. Excuse me for burping. I don't know, the decks were either too small or whatever, but now they're getting better. They're getting bigger and bigger and better and better. And just like, say, the Griffin 25 Plus, this has not just one but two build decks, and I think the build deck diameter is something like 19.8 millimeters. So these are pretty big build decks. So the reason why I said, you know what, I'll give this tank a try is because I felt that there were a few things about it that no other tank has. First, Stephanie always tells me, Harry, give single coils a chance, give a single coil a chance. And I don't have the proper RDA for a single coil. And I don't have a proper tank that has a proper base for a single coil. And it just, a single coil, it's almost like vaping half an RDA. And that unless it's built properly for it, preferably bottom airflow. Now that I'm starting to get into bottom airflow RDAs, they just didn't have any good decks. And like a Griffin 25 Plus has a great dual coil deck, but not a true single coil deck, But this had two decks. So, and one thing that no other tank has, the chimney is 10 millimeters inner diameter. Compare that to a TF V8 having only a 5 millimeter inner diameter chimney. The vaping experience is different, and I knew it was going to be different. That was actually, the chimney was actually the reason why I haven't been buying any of these tanks. Even once the build decks got big enough, I just couldn't bring myself to vape it when I'm vaping, some pretty wide bore chuff caps here. I mean, here's even double vision. I mean, this is a pretty wide bore chuff. Tanks can't simulate that. Even if they put a big, what's the point of, say, a 12, 13, 14 millimeter chuff cap on top if you have a 5 millimeter chimney? And I think the Griffin 25 Plus is only a 4 millimeter chimney or a 3 millimeter chimney, 3.5 millimeter chimney, somewhere in that zone, because it also has top airflow design built into the chimney. So the chimney is not so wide. And, I'm looking for a tank that I can vape at 60 watts. I can vape at 70 watts all day long. And then when I need that 120 watts, 130 watts, oh man, no problem, no issue. With a tank like this, having such a wide chimney, you can, instead of the vapor being extremely hot, it's more mellow. And all that vapor doesn't get trapped in there, or, no matter how much airflow you have to the coil, you have resistance from that chimney. So this tank had it all. But there were problems. Major problems. Problems that reviewers are not talking about. And I don't care if they have these problems or they don't have these problems. People are going to have these problems. You're going to have these problems. And I mean, I'm not just giving you my opinion. I spoke to others privately in Hangouts or on Google Plus, and I'm going to sit here and tell you that others are having similar issues and problems. So let's have another vape, and I'll tell you all the really good pros of this and all the really good cons, and you decide whether you should get this. All right? Nice vape at 70 watts. Really nice vape at 70 watts, I'm telling you. Yeah. All right, so let me tell you some pros of it. The chimney, obviously, very wide, large chuff cap that never, ever, I mean, chain vaping, 120 watts, the tank's going to get hot, okay? Maybe not as hot as a TFV4 or a TFV4 Mini, but it's going to get hot. Chuff cap never gets hot, so don't worry about that. Airflow, you got more airflow than you'll ever need on this. In fact, you could even close it up a little bit and try to restrict it, because let me tell you, plenty of airflow. No chimney that's going to prevent the airflow from coming through. I mean, everything is there. It's there. Flavor, it's not the most flavorful tank you're going to get out there. Again, because the chimney is so wide open. It's so wide open, so it's going to reduce the flavor a little bit. But I would compare it to vaping a goon with 2 air holes open on the side and the ultra wide chuff cap. That's the kind of flavor you're going to get, which is good. Very good. Okay, not great, but very good. Okay? All right. More pros are 2 different style building decks. I mean, now I could start, yo, Stephanie, let me get some big monster coil to throw in this single coil deck. You know what I'm saying? All right, so it's going to be really good. All right. What else is really good? It looks hot. I mean, that looks sick, man. That looks sick. All right. But they should have made the barrels black, so the gold would show up on black instead of on stainless steel. Whatever. It's a con, but who cares? Anyway, now let me tell you realities, okay? The airflow holes to the coils are are very wide open, and that's good. You want a lot of air to be hitting your coils, on your building decks, but a lot of condensation is going to seep down it. Usually tanks are like this, where you have at the bottom the airflow holes on the side, and this bottom is more like a bowl or a cup. And so if you get any condensation in there, or if you get any leakage when you fill it, you could just blow it out, into a paper towel, and you never even have to remove it from your mod. You can't do that with this because the airflow is literally at the bottom, and there's no cup underneath. There's nothing underneath. So when you vape this whole tank, whether you get any leaking when you fill it or not, you have to remove this tank when you're done with it, because you are going to have 3 puddles. I didn't say 3 little amounts of little, vapor, little haziness on your mod. No, 3 puddles of juice literally sitting on your mod right next to your 510 pin. Okay? So whether you wick it so well that it doesn't leak, you will still get so much condensation touching your mod, directly to your mod, that you'll create 3 puddles where the 3 holes underneath are. And I don't mind that too much because I have to take my tank off anyway, because I'm not going to completely overstuff the decks with wick. So I'm going to have a couple of drops of leaking. Mostly not worthwhile to complain about. But sometimes, especially to new people, or people who don't expect leaking, you're going to get leaking, all right? Which brings me to the leaking point. When you put cotton in this, there are going to be some people that say they don't get no leaking, and I agree with them. You can overstuff your wicks into the wick holes, into the cotton holes, and stuff it into the juice flow holes, and stuff it, lots of cotton, and you could vape at 60, 70, maybe even 80 watts and not get a dry hit. You try doing that now at 140 watts, 120 watts, 140 watts, you're going to get leaking, okay? I mean, you're going to get dry hits. You're going to get major dry hits if you overstuff, all right? So that's a con. You either overstuff and you don't have any real leaking, or you not understuff it, but just, you know what I mean? Make sure there's some room for some air bubbles to escape, for the cotton to get, to juice up properly, especially if you're chain vaping at like 120 watts. You want the wicks not so thick and dense in those holes. You want it to wick properly. So that's a con. It's a big con to some people, and especially if you're used to packing some cotton in some of these mods, some of these tanks, like the Griffin and the Heracles and some of these others, and you're used to just putting a little bit of cotton in there and not too much, and you use a juice flow control valve to shut off it while filling. Now all of a sudden you don't have that. It's going to leak. And I'm going to tell you why it's going to leak. Let me try to open this up real quick. I should have prepared this. I'm going to show you why it leaks. This is the single coil deck. This is the single coil deck here. Excuse me. Choking on saliva. And those juice flow holes are huge. They're even bigger. Well, in the dual coil deck, they're even bigger than where you stuff the cotton. No, even on this deck. I can't really show you. I can't take it apart. I'm actually holding my phone with one hand. But the cotton holes are about 3/4 of the size of the juice flow holes, offering no restriction of the liquid going to your cotton. And that's the problem right there. These holes need to be made smaller on both decks, on both the dual coil deck and the single coil deck. These holes right there need to be no bigger than the cotton holes in here, And I would prefer them even to be half the size of those cotton holes or something like that. Just enough where the cotton could get wet. You know what I mean? But not enough wet, just to just whoosh into the hole as you're filling it up, and then up around the sides of the cotton, and then into your deck, and then out all over your mod. And I mean all over your mod if you really don't have enough wick on it. Like you're doing it the first time, you're not sure, you're not... Oh man, let me tell you, I had a member freak out on Hangouts where he has juice all over his mod, and I understand it because it's a brand new mod, and that happened on this as well. You know, having juice run all over your brand new mod that you just bought, all over. All right, not that good. All right, let's have another vape. Alrighty. So, yeah, they really got to fix that. They really, really, really have to fix that. On both decks, those juice flow holes are way too big. Astronomically too big. To not have some kind of juice flow control. That's just wrong. Okay? But that's not a big deal, because to be honest with you, I kind of got the cotton perfect where, yeah, I'll have a little dribble or two, a little tiny leak when I fill it, but I already have to remove it from my mod to wipe the moisture off my mod. So having a little leak is not the biggest of deals. It really isn't. I mean, I'm just not going to cry about it. But now I'm going to tell you something that you're just not hearing out there. I had problems with both the single and dual coil deck not showing up at the proper ohms when installing the tank onto my mod, on any mod. I tried on 3 different mods. All right, 3 different mods, and all 3 mods the same way. I have right now, inside here right now, some aliens, I believe from Wicked Ways or his friend Sub Ohm. I don't remember who built it, but they are amazing aliens. Very good flavor. It's working very nice in here. I'm very happy. They come out to 0.23 ohms. Right now, it's showing up as 0.22 ohms. I don't know if you can see that, but it says 0.22 ohms. I don't care if it's off a digit, but there are times where those coils specifically will show up as 0.45 ohms, 0.75 ohms. I had it show up one time at 1.13 ohms, and for 45 minutes of installing it, uninstalling it, installing it, uninstalling it onto my mod, this, that, and the other, I couldn't get the ohms corrected. I tried tightening down the screws, which is very easy because you just slip a screwdriver right down the chuff cap and then and the chimney and just tighten up the screws. But it's not the screws were loose. The screws were tight. Everything's tight. Everything's good. The problem is the connection of the inside of the 510 pin, the positive pin, the inside positive pin of the inside of the tank, where the deck screws down onto. I think the connection is not perfect. If it lines up perfectly, if it's not wet, maybe, I don't know if it's wetness or if it's not wetness, or if it's touching, if it's not touching, but ohms could be all over the place. And I'm telling you, I got so pissed off that I couldn't fix it in 10 minutes, which sometimes it could take 10 minutes to fix. My God, 10 minutes. I could wick a set of coils in 10 minutes. Never, I just, it's so much work for nothing. So like that one night, at the 45 minutes of trying to get it to work, I gave up. And now I can't vape my favorite flavor. Oh, that's nice, right? This is my all-day vape. I can't vape my all-day vape. I gotta vape an alternative flavor. What? Anyway, in fact, the very next morning, I was going to take the tank outside, make this video like I'm making right now, and then take a hammer and smash the damn tank. I'm not kidding. I was going to smash the damn tank in a video and show it to you. That's how much I want to love it, but too much work. There's only one good thing. There's only one thing though that saved me. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. On the X Cube Ultra, there's a setting. There's a setting right there. Okay, where you can actually change the ohms of your coil. It shows up the ohms of the coil right now, and if I want, all right, well, I clicked the button so it's gone, but all right, if I want, I could actually make adjustments to the ohms of my coil, and that's what saved me. I remembered that that was a feature of this mod, and so I put the tank on, so the tank was off, programmed in the ohms, works fine, works fine. So my point is this. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care if you have this problem. I don't care if you don't have this problem. I'll say it like this. The problem is widespread enough where a few people, a couple of people, have already spoken to me about it. Okay, that they have the same or similar issues as I have when it comes to the ohms not being read properly. Either it said atomizer short, or the ohms were completely different, or whatever. Some people have had some problems. Maybe I have a defective one. Maybe I have a perfect one. I don't know. All I know is other people are having some problems, the same problems that I'm having. Okay, the same leaking issues. If they're not overstuffing it, they're having leaking issues when they fill it, and that's because the juice flow holes. These holes are so wide. This hole right here is so wide that you can't even see the whole hole because the X and the L are covering the ends of it. That's how wide open this juice flow hole is. I've never seen juice flow holes this wide before. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know? Now, if you have a mod that you could change the ohms on the go, like I do, hey, vape away. Get the tank. It's an amazing tank. I'm telling you, you're going to love this tank. High wattage too? Oh man. Oh wow. I mean, I vaped this thing at 140, chain vaped this thing at 140 watts till I couldn't breathe anymore. And while the tank section here would get very, very, very hot, this never did. Stainless steel drip tip still doesn't get hot. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. Okay, all I know is it works. And it works well. Leaking when I fill it, whatever. I could do it a different way and not get it to leak at all, or maybe just a dribble, whatever. But I'm just sitting here saying that the ohms, I have a bunch of RDAs, I have tanks, I've never had a problem where it doesn't read the ohms properly. Never. And not just on one mod, on 3 different regulated mods. So this is an amazing tank. But like the Limitless RDTA had a few flaws, this tank has a few flaws and needs a refresh. I think that if they just reduce the juice flow holes alone and do nothing else, this would be an amazing tank. Okay? Well, I mean, they got to fix that 510 connection. I don't know. I think it's on the inside of the tank where the 510 inside this black area meets the coil deck. That's the problem. Something's wrong there. Either the pin isn't long enough, or it's long enough but off by a fraction of a millimeter. I don't know. I don't know. There's just something wrong there. okay? But yeah, you like to tinker, and you have a mod that can adjust your ohms of your coils to make sure that they're the proper ohms when you're vaping them, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Okay, I mean really, go right ahead, because this is the deal right here. This is the deal. If you're a cloud chucker, if you're someone that vapes high wattage, this is what you want. This is the deal right here. It's sexy, it's sleek, it has a huge chuff cap and chimney. I mean, it's just really amazing. Oh man. One more vape and then I'm gonna say goodbye. Oh yeah. This is the deal right here. Sadly, I can't recommend this tank. The mod, on the other hand, the mod saved the day. The mod prevented this tank from getting smashed with a hammer. This is the mod. This is a nice mod. This mod actually does what it says it does. This mod has a tremendous amount of features. Features I didn't even think I needed. Why would I need a feature like manually adjusting my ohms on my coil? I would never even in a million years think I would need such a feature. This mod saved this tank. Anyway, you have a blessed day.